Oh, what did they happen now? No bonus for all my time.
No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123 *2 *1 hash or text BG to 312. T and C's apply.
To the man hustling every day to get his daughter through school. The artisans grinding every day to earn their urgent 2K. To the farmers, scientists, teachers, the doctors who do what they do so we can learn, live, and grow. The entrepreneur with his hustle, waiting for Baba to pick his call. To us Nigerians, doing our best daily to make ends meet. The world is yours. The world is ours. Let's go. Let's grow. Go make a difference with MTN Data.
Dailies today.
Dailies today.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
The 99.3 Nigeria Info, Lagos. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the second part of Dailies today. Why did you say that?
No, I want to apologize. In case I sneeze or I sniff or whatever. The enemies have come just about the time Sheriff was going to put on the mic. I started sneezing. I don't know where that's coming from, but the show will go on.
Yes, the show must go on. Welcome, Lagos. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
Right, you can also be live with us on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. Just search for us and then you'll be able to look at us. We're going to start on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Page 7, that's where we're starting from. Pastor Adefarasin turns himself into Lagos police.
So apparently this video, which started off I think as some kind of prank, where Pastor Adefarasin was hailed by a supposed area boy. All these pranks that a lot of these.
I think it was the gentleman was just a content creator.
It's a content creator, yes. So try to play a prank. Anyway, in the video, he was driving a Range Rover. And the Range Rover had no registration number, which gives me more concern than the fact that he was probably carrying what appeared to be a gun. So the content creator hailed him and he lifted up the item. I don't think, when looking at that video, I've tried to look at it quite well. I don't think it's a gun, because when I looked at the nozzle, if he was going to carry a pistol, it wouldn't. I don't think the nozzle would be that big. So I don't know what it was. The police will sort that out. But the one of greater concern to me is how an educated adult, full-grown adult in Nigeria, is driving a vehicle on the Nigerian roads without any form of registration. And that is part of the indiscipline we've been talking about in this country. And I hope whatever happens to him will serve as an example to this idea that I'm a VIP to show who I am. I'm not going to put any registration number. I've been complaining about this for so long. Part of the irresponsibility of our elites. Because this is what it is. When you drive a vehicle, if the vehicle hasn't been registered, you use what you call a dealer's plate number. Your dealer will put his so that the car can be identified. I will see what the Lagos State government will have to say about a man driving a vehicle that is not registered. I want to see where that is going. I don't think it was a pistol, what he did put up. I don't think. If it's a pistol, then it must be some new kind of pistols that I probably don't know about. But what concerns me more, the more evident one, is the issue, because this is how it goes. A lot of our elites, they have these cars, they don't register them. They have a so-called backup vehicle, they don't register them, and they cause mayhem on the road. And I think that the elite have been watching too many American movies and believe somewhat that that is the way it goes in the Western world. If you live in the world of movies, to use Fela's phrase, you go miss road. America is not a lawless country. never make that mistake. One slip and you are in it. For you to think that, okay, so the way they portray it in movies is the way you are going to live in Nigeria, I hope we'll be able to make an example of certain elite. It doesn't make it any better than the fact that the man is a pastor. And we have our problems with pastors as it is, with some of them, not all of them, who generally again always have this tendency to believe that they are above the law. So we are going to wait, whether it was a gun or not, that's a matter for the police, but we are going to wait to see the Lagos State government's position on how he could drive a vehicle that is not registered, and to find out for how long has he had that vehicle. We will inadvertently put a stop to the irresponsibility of our elites in this country, bit by bit. I noticed, for example, at one or two social events I attended recently, the incidence of people moving around with security people has somewhat, it's been tempered. But we will not stop until we get some final closure. If you don't feel safe enough to come to a party, sit down like a gentleman and not become a nuisance to other people, stay in your house. We have indulged the elite of this society for too long. And some of us are hell-bent that Nigeria will not become a concrete jungle. So the story says that he has turned himself in. That word itself, he has its own implications, but we'll overlook it. When you say you turn yourself in, were you wanted? Was he invited by the police? If he had been a lesser person, would the police be waiting for him to turn himself in? Or they would have sent at least two people to, in the first instance, invite him? But they say he has turned himself in over a viral video allegedly showing him holding a firearm during an encounter with the content creator. Another lesson to learn from this is that one thing you should be sure of: there is no hiding place in the world anymore. You don't know. Big Brother is watching you at every point. Yorubas have a proverb: if you don't want people to know what you're doing, don't do it. Know that even when you close your windows and draw your curtains, there could be that hidden camera put there by your domestic whatever, hidden. Okay, and they'll make a lot of money out of it. So all of us have to be extremely careful with the way we behave. So the spokesperson of the police have said they disclosed that to the Vanguard correspondent, and he had said in a message to his congregation posted on the social media handle, he said the claims are a misunderstanding, and that he stated clearly that the object in the footage was not a firearm, and emphasized that he did not point it at anyone. So the question to ask is, if it was not a firearm, what was it? And what is his own definition of a firearm? Meanwhile, in the WhatsApp message, Undeyi wrote, "No one is above the law. Pastor Adefarasin has turned himself in at the Lagos State Police Command Headquarters and is currently being interrogated by detectives. They have commenced investigation into the case following the emergence of a video showing the pastor holding a gun-like object towards another road users while driving in an unregistered vehicle. The outcome of the investigation will be made public. We will give them a few days to sort it out. We expect two reactions, one from the police on the firearm, the other on driving an unregistered. Well, police say it was even unregistered. We will see what happens in that case. So we move on.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of an update there from what I'm seeing here.
That's online.
Yes, Vanguard.
Okay.
That he's been granted bail.
Granted bail?
Mm-hmm.
Was he arrested?
I guess so.
I don't understand. So there's a video showing him carrying something that looks like a firearm and whatever. I thought that you'd question him first, and therefore, if you found the need, you would then have arrested him. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything other than what is here. Maybe I should go through the story.
Yeah, go through the story.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Vanguard is reporting that senior pastor Paul Adefracing of House on the Rock has been granted bail by the Lagos State Police Command hours after voluntarily turning himself in for investigation. And this was disclosed on official X page of the command by the Police Public Relations Officer CSP Benjamin Hundeyin. According to Hundeyin, the item recovered from Adefracing was not a firearm,
Exactly.
but a stun gun, which is classified as a prohibited anti-riot device.
Now I get it. You know, I tell you, say that will not be gone.
Yes, you said so.
Look at the nose.
You said so.
Do you know a gun if you see it?
Yes, I do.
A gun has been pointed to my head. In fact, a gun has been put to my head like this.
Me too.
Irony. Look, let me tell you, how did you feel when that gun was pointed?
I felt that was the last time. That was the last day. That was my last moment. That was my last second.
Sins. You confessed.
They didn't even ask me to confess anything. I would have confessed my sins, but they didn't ask me.
Mine was twice. There was one put to my head, specifically. Then there was another one about 10 a.m. I had an office in VI. Customer came a day then, way back, years back. And the guy just strolled in. Morning, 11 a.m. morning. As he was coming in, the office was a bit dark. So I thought, first of all, thought it was Sesoku Yoru. So I said, "Wiri, kilo one by kilo no see me." So when the guy was saying, stay there. When he buried that song, was there, you idiot. What are you doing here so early? By the time I realized that he was not my friend, I think I needed a nap. Okay,
let's move on to our next story. Page 5 of the Vanguard. Benue killings are a gory ordeal by survivors.
Okay, there's not much to say here, but to just let you know this is an update. Like I said, it's a gory ordeal, so I don't want to. Let's just say that the situation, is very bad. I lost 20 family members to attacks. That is one. 8 family members killed, says another survivor. Another one says killer sent prior warnings before attack. Governor Alia rejects calls for self-defense, backs community policing. I disagree with that. It's time that, people must gear themselves up for self-defense since the situation seems to be spiraling out of control. CDS pushes community self-protection to end Benue killings. We've failed our people. This one was quite significant. The members of the House of Assembly met yesterday and they come to the conclusion that all of them have failed. The governor, the members of the House of Assembly, all of them have failed. So it's up to the Benue people to decide what to do with them. They said it themselves. Act decisively on killings in Benue, others. PFN task Tinubu. We are tired of mourning. It's time to act, says the Senate. Then another survivor said 8 members of his family were killed. It's a very gory story, but the Vanguard has full report. The Vanguard and the Trust are the 2 papers that I have seen this morning that have been quite comprehensive in their reports.
Talking about the Trust, they have a story on page 17. Alias aid withdraws memo on colorful procession for Tinubu's visit.
Yeah, the governor through one of his aides had put out a release telling people to come out to welcome the president and form the line up on the streets and so on and so forth. So I think somebody has gradually talked some sense into him. Remember, this crisis has brought all the top guns, not just in Benue, even in that part of the north, the retired generals and so on. So I think one of them must have put a call through to him to say to him, what kind of nonsense do you think you're doing? This is not a presidential visit. This is a crisis. And you say people should gaily welcome country. But that is the problem we have with dealing with our leaders. You can't read their mind. Maybe he's trying to do all he can do to juice up the president and thinks that kind of thing might work. Who knows? But so it has been withdrawn. The president hopefully will go in there quietly and get the job done very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. And there's another headline here that says that this is accredited to a retired senior officer of the DSS, Ogem Angulum, and he has expressed hope that the president's visit to Benue will lead to a meaningful change in processing the persistent insecurity in the state. I think the president goes to Benue this morning.
Yes, that's right.
And is going to meet all stakeholders, and there's going to be a town hall. I don't know if it's going to be different from Balablu, but that's going to be.
I think it's going to be different.
You think it's going to be different? There's going to be a town hall meeting. He has reacted a bit slowly, but I hope so far. The president should not run away from taking some very strong decisions, believe you me. And I think one of the decisions he will be thinking of, he should and will be thinking of, is how to bring about change in the security network. How effective. This is a failure of Intel in the first instance. How effective is this? And I think I can say this, my opinion is that, and I'm saying this quite responsibly, and I'm not faffing about it, is that the NSA has been too involved in political things. It is possible he has been distracted. So I think the president might want to be thinking of putting somebody who is better focused 100% on these security issues and is less exposed to the efforts to keep the president in government to the end of his tenure and beyond. That is my view. I think the NSA, Ribadu, I think he's been distracted politically. This is a hands-on job. It's a hands-on job. In fact, the NSA should not even have the time to be seen, to be granted. It should be totally focused, because I think that is the primary unit, because that's where the intel comes from. But well, I've not been in government. I don't know about these things. But my view is that the NSA has been distracted. And when I recommend that it should be changed, I don't mean it should be sacked from his job for non-performance. No, but the president might need somebody who is more focused, 100% on the job.
All right, indeed. Let's quickly move ahead to our next story, because I was actually going to ask you whether you think that this could be more than a condolence visit by the president, or it is what it is, a condolence visit.
Well, I hope not, because he has mobilized everything. That's what we read in the papers. Abuja should be empty by now. He has mobilized everything, even the retired, all stakeholders, retired generals, all of them, retired military men, stakeholders, politicians. He plans to meet with all of them. So I think he's serious about it. He knows the implications. And I think that what I don't know is if we'll have the gravitas to take very firm decisions. Because the president himself, unfortunately, but that's his calling, seems to be more engrossed in politics than in governance. I still had the time yesterday to go and do some funny thing called flag off of some INEC headquarters. I don't know when we are going to rid ourselves of this kind of wastage. For the past 2 weeks, front pages of the newspapers have carried very expensive adverts, advertising flag off, commissioning. I don't know when we are going to go through all that. I didn't even think he would have the time to go to attend a flag off. What is all that nonsense? Where's all that nonsense? The president too needs to sit down to do the job. At least he needs to be seen to be sitting down to do it. Yesterday, he could easily have said, let me send somebody to go and represent me. I'm very busy. I'm having consultations far and wide. But the president seems to be more focused on politicking. Fair enough. But it's bad enough then that his NSA is also has his eyes on politics and politicking. So I hope that he makes the necessary adjustment. It doesn't also help that his chief of staff is also a politician. He needs technocrats who will be on the grind and ready to do the job and give proper directives. The NSA the other day asked what has happened. They had a meeting, said the president has given directives. It's not the president giving directives. We have professionals there. They should tell him what to do, And then all he needs to do is approve. Okay, fine, approval. But if you are waiting, you go to a meeting and you are waiting for him to give you directives to do ABC, we have a problem. We have a problem.
There's another situation that I'd love to get your opinion on, your thoughts on, which is what happened in Benue when that incident occurred. The governor, gave wrong figures as to the number of casualties, and quite a number of people have been talking about it, that maybe the governor is actually not on top of his game, because whilst he was doing that, the Pope, all the way from the Vatican, was giving almost the correct figures, of what had happened in his own state. What do you think could be going on?
Well, it's part of the Nigerian, I'm sorry to say, tolerance for incompetence. Have you forgotten, Sheriff? I don't know now, I haven't observed it lately. Have you forgotten that even Nigerian papers, Nigerian media, used to quote BBC reports on Nigerian matters? You see that according to the BBC, and the man's competence, the governor's competence, as shown clearly by the directive that, because that one, that one shows the kind of mind that he has, telling people to come out and welcome the president and so on and so forth. That already shows his competence level. But that shouldn't bother you, because in our constitution, I think you need stances or so to become governor of stances. We need to up the ante. If you are not qualified to be the MD of a multinational, honestly, how do you put a state or whatever in such hands? But we seem to lie about it to ourselves. We seem to gloss over it, and that's what we are paying for. Yes.
7:52. If you're not watching on Facebook, you should do that if you can. It's facebook.com/Nigeria Info 99.3. Ditto YouTube. Let's start with the Vanguard this time. Then would go to other papers later. Vanguard, page 45. Senate kicks as Ibas appoints Cross River Indigene as Rivers SIEC chairman.
You see what I was saying about now? The Ibas is a retired vice admiral. He's sent there for only 6 months.
That's right.
Now, ideally, we should there should have been allowance for the governor himself when he does come back. Okay, we assume that he'll come back to do these things. You rush to do it, then you now appoint somebody from Cross River to be a SIEC chairman in Rivers.
SIEC, by the way, is a state independent
electoral commission. It's like appointing a Ghanaian.
Well, he's a sole administrator. That's what administrators
now,
do.
To make it for you to realize the thinking of the average Nigerian, and he's more than average. He's a retired vice admiral. He brings somebody from his hometown.
That's the thinking of a Nigerian.
I won't say more than that. I thought that an administrator is somebody to steady the boat. In fact, there is nothing stopping the administrator from working hand in hand with the whether you call him suspended governor or whatever. But there should be nothing stopping him from working with him. After all, the governor didn't commit an offense.
He didn't commit an offense.
An offense.
He commit an offense.
There's nothing stopping him. You wiped out all the political office holders. Who gave you the list of people you are going to work with? Then when you go, the governor brings his people back. Is that how you govern the country? Do you see the kind of problem we have at the level of vice admiral? At that level, problem there, Sheriff. There is problem at that level. Let me just watch my language. We will talk off here because I will use some foul language here. There's a problem at that level. This is not corporal or this, at vice admiral level. Look at what he's doing. Yeah, you want me to talk more?
No. I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. Would it have been an overkill for him to have even reached out to INEC?
No, look, listen. This is a state matter.
Yes, but he could have asked for help. from INEC if he doesn't trust anybody.
The help he needs, but we know also there's an agenda. Okay, we are not going to run away from the fact that we know a weak factor will be in all this. But I would have thought if I was a retired vice admiral, nobody can use me for his own agenda at that level. I go back home. But we are not structured that way.
Okay, so what if this is the agenda of the people that put him there?
Then he has allowed himself to be used. He will pay for it.
I think he knew that it was being used
from
day one.
Are you telling me the agenda of people who put him there told him to put his countryman to head?
Maybe this is the agenda. Maybe this is it.
Oh, look, wow. Nigeria is a wonderful country, I tell you.
It's a very beautiful country.
It's a wonderful country. We're all beasts of no nation.
What does that mean?
As I said, we're beasts of no nation. You know, fella was highly philosophical. He had one song called BBC, Big Blind Country. And you know, they say that in the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. He now argues that, how are you sure that one-eyed man can actually see? One, how are you sure that he has not gone to hire somebody's eye? You guys go to YouTube, look for BBC by Fela Kuti. You see there, how are you sure that in the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king? The other people who are blind can't see. They depend on him. How are you sure that he himself he sees, or he himself is not go higher eye? the things that come out in programs like this and this kind of revelations. Even if you were going to employ appoint a non-indigenous, how must it be somebody from your hometown? But, and you think you run away with it? You grab it and run away with it?
I think it's just a symptom of the myriads of Nigerians' problems.
Yes, and the problems are apparently they are from the roots. Because look at the first story we took. Educated man, well exposed. What would you be driving around with?
These are all symptoms of
symptoms, and we will begin to call them out. I want to know who that content creator is. I want him here in the studio. He's somebody with a brain. Beautiful. We will continue to call people out until we have a society that shows a lot of respect for intellectual matter in terms of thinking.
Let me take this message as we go. Tola on YouTube says, a typical Nigerian is tactical, not strategic in thinking. It plays out in all the things we do.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Short-term thinking only.
Who is that? What's his name?
His name is Tola.
Tola what?
Olaniwaju Animashaun.
These are my people, Lagos people. I'm not surprised.
Excuse me.
I mean, yes. Sorry. The animal sounds are a family. You know, Lagos people, we are all one big family.
Please.
I mean, do you see the kind of
what
thinking?
If it's not the Lagos person?
A Lagosian would not have appointed a fellow Lagosian in last year, in whatever, in Osun or in Edo. You see, Lagos is it.
Oh, what did they happen now? No bonus for all my line.
No panic, as MTN don't carry better gist come. Every 6 minutes you talk, MTN go dash you 3 extra minutes. Fiam to enter MTN better gist. Dial *123*2*1# or text BG to 312. T and
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.